Sam Adams Cherry Wheat was first introduced as a summer seasonal beer in 1995. However, the beer proved so popular it eventually went on to become offered year-round. Should you make room for this Sam Adams classic in your beer fridge? Find out now on Two Dudes Reviews.
What up, guys? Yeah, today we have Sam Adams Cherry Wheat. I'm gonna crack this sucker open, and if I'm thinking back, this might be the very first actual fruit beer I ever had. And at the time, the bar you go to, they drop one of those, the cocktail cherries into the glass. And something a little glass similar to this, a little bigger than this, but still, at the time, I mean, this was a long time ago. Anything with a fruit, that was just mind blowing. Of course, yeah. So I'm trying to think. This was right about the same. This might have been a little after I had Blue Moon for the first time with an orange slice. So having some kind of a garnish in the beer was very new, at least to me at that particular time. And I wanted to go back and review this because it's been such a long time, and this was a very early just kind of beer that I had and growing up in the beer scene. But anyways, let's get into this and let's check out the smell. I mean, it has a very, lager smell. And there's cherry. Part of it almost, not quite a chemical cherry. It's, one of those chemically cough syrup cherries. It's not quite to that level. It does taste more like the super sweet cherries you'd use if you're baking a pie, just in the those cans. So, I mean, they have pictures of cherries. Of course, I don't know why they have the cherries going up, because cherries grow down, so it's kind of upside down almost. But it tastes like the artificially sweetened cherry. So, yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's, at the time, I remember it being amazing. Right now, there's so many other fruit added beers that anything that's kind of has that extra almost artificial sweetener, it's dropped down a notch. This might be one of the more original, lager slash, wheat beers. Never mind, it's not lager, but wheat beers with cherry in it. It's more original, but there's other ones I think probably smell better. So I'm gonna give it a half. It's not terrible, but not great. But all right, let's get into the taste. Dogs doing crazy stuff out there. It's kind of a marginal wheat beer. And the cherry at the top isn't too bad with it. I think at the taste, the tongue, it's crisper at the front end. At the back end, I feel like it's a little too bitter for a wheat beer. If they went more towards the IPA side and kept that, made it a little hoppier with a little cherry sweetened aspect to it, I think could work pretty decently. And I mean, as it is, it's not bad. I mean, obviously they've had this beer around for 20 plus, probably close to 20 years now. But it's just, there's something a little not quite as refined as I'd want in a wheat beer at the tail end. But I mean, it's refreshing on the front end. It's not terrible. It's It's almost like you take a Blue Moon, but switch it with orange. Take the orange out, put a little cherry in. You can definitely taste the cherry. It's not quite as artificially tasting as it smells. It smells more artificial than anything else. I don't know if they actually brew it. Wheat ale brew. Okay, so they do brew it with cherries. There's natural flavors added. So they actually brew it with cherries, which is nice. A lot of beers nowadays, they just kind of pour in some flavor extract after the process. That's almost a little cheating, in my opinion, but no one's asking me. It's fine. There's... Again, yeah, the end of it, I don't like the flavor that my mouth is left with completely. But it's not terrible, so I'll give it a half for taste. Next category is value for price. And it's Sam Adams. You know what Sam Adams costs. It's going to be a little more than your Budweiser, a little less than most other micro beers. And I believe I don't know if technically Sam Adams is still a micro beer. I was looking for that, that goofy upside down beer label they put on independent stuff now. But I don't think anybody else owns Sam Adams, so I think it's still technically a micro beer thing. But it's not a bad price for a beer that you're probably at least going to be. It's going to be drinkable. It's going to be decent. You can't really go too wrong with Sam Adams. So yeah, sure. I'll recommend it for value for price for what it is. But, all right, next category is distinction. How distinct is it? And it's a ho-hum wheat beer with cherry added. Basically, if you haven't had this before, anybody could tell you it's a low middle of the pack wheat beer and there's some cherry flavoring. You already know exactly what it tastes like. You don't even have to drink this to know exactly what it tastes like. I wouldn't mind trying it again with the cherry drop through. I feel like that would help, might mask some of the end taste part to it. That might actually help bring it up more to life or whatever. But I guess distinction, you don't get a ton of cherry wheats. I'm not thinking of any other crazy cherry wheats. But there's so many other just flavored wheat beers out there that you can find just about anything. And I guess, again, I'm going to give this a half again because you don't find a bunch of cherry wheats. But there's so many flavored wheat beers out there now that do a better job with it. And they don't have that kind of artificial bittery end taste to it that I think the other ones do it better, but I'll give this a half on that. Next category is drinkability, and honestly, yeah, not a problem with. You could crush a 6-pack of this real fast, so that's not an issue. It's wheat beers are made to be enjoyed when it's warmer out, and you just kind of pound through them. So yeah, I'd recommend it on drinkability. And the more I'm wondering if, because I believe when this came out, Line and Kugel wasn't really making shandies. They were still a more legitimate, different spectrum of beers. I feel like this was starting to do okay, and then Line and Kugel hopped on board and just went full shandy. Of course, now basically 90% of the beers they make are shandies, but it's kind of, I feel like once the summer shandy really, popped up, the popularity for this kind of has dwindled. Because I can't say I see very many people drinking a cherry wheat anymore. It's, it is what it is. It's what the beer industry is like nowadays. But last category is would I buy it again? And I haven't had a cherry wheat in a very long time. It's been a while, and I'm not anti it. I just think there's a lot of better ones out there. But if somebody's having it, and I wouldn't necessarily say no to it. If I'm at a smaller bar and I feel like a wheat beer, and this is the only one they got, sure, I'll go for that because it's not terrible. But I guess again, I'll give it a half. This is This kind of describes this beer. It's kind of just so across the board. Not terrible, not bad, not great. You already know what you're gonna get when you buy it. But yeah, that is my review for Sam Adams Cherry Wheat. What do you think of it? Have you had this in a while? When did you first try it? Because if you're like me, it's been a very long time. And if you're not a huge fan of this, are there other wheat beers, like flavored wheat beers with fruit or whatever, that you'd rather have instead? But anyways, yeah, that is the review. If you want to like and subscribe, that'd be great. You're going to check out the podcast and the blog, whatever. I got links down below. And yeah, that about does it. So for myself and for Sam Adams Cherry Wheat, take it easy.